Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Commissioners' regular meeting, Wednesday, September the 25th, 2019. I'd like to call order the meeting. Roll call. Mr. Ettinger, Commissioner Ettinger, in. Commissioner Harris, and myself, Gary Mitchell, is present. We have Peller absent and Smith absent. I'd like to approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. Will there be any public comments? We'd like to open up the floor. Okay. We're going to open up quotes and bids or proposals.
These are the proposals for the Cheney Run recreational amenities. The first proposal is from SEH, and they are in Michigan City, Indiana. Although the guy that brought it over here works in Muncie.
We have options all over the country.
You gonna read anything on these, or are we just opening them?
Just open them,
Okay.
make sure they're there.
Okay, there's the first one.
Just for the record, these are for the design of the recreational amenities.
So we don't have these
No.
in
I
here?
just said it. They're planning and design of the Cheney Run recreational amenities.
The trail, fishing platform, etc.
Is there like some kind of, am I on the clock here, Ryan?
Mr. Peller.
The next one we received from
How are you? Good.
Applied Ecological Services at Smith Road in, no, it's in Board Head, Wisconsin. Applied Ecological Services. Next one is from the Hay and Associates. They are on Higgins Road in Chicago, Illinois.
That hay is, oh, H-E-Y.
H-E-Y, yes. And the fourth and final proposal that we have is from V3 Companies, and they are in Woodridge, Illinois.
Is this someone's,
Yeah, that's for Applied Ecological Services.
We going to put this in the
we got a full house.
What do we have on here?
I'm only here for an hour.
Right here is your Haas and Associates. Item 92. Mr. Mitchell.
I'd like to, excuse me for a second, Mr. Cuss. I'd like to make the record show that Mr. Peller, Commissioner Peller, and Commissioner Smith is present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would ask that the board approve the sanitary district management and engineering staffs, along with our attorney, to review these and make the award to the proposal that we believe to be the best.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And then,
Will there be any more of those?
no, I don't think that's it.
The Indiana Pollution Prevention Conference.
I just wanted to let the board members know that I gave my presentation in Indianapolis last Wednesday, the 18th, I believe it was, the 18th, I think that was Wednesday. And my presentation was near the end of the show. I thought it was going to be more towards the beginning, but actually it worked out well. I had a really nice, large audience, and I think I kept everybody awake. And I really don't know how to describe the enthusiasm that I received from my presentation about the projects that we're doing and what we're doing up here in Michigan City, Indiana. It was really quite amazing. One lady spoke after I got done on the questions and answer session, and she says that we've got to find a way to get this presentation out to the entire state of Indiana. And then she went on after that to the nation. She says, you guys are just doing so much and accomplishing so many things. It's really quite amazing. So, and several people, 10, 15 people came up to me afterwards and told me that, how much they enjoyed the presentation and how exciting it is to see everything that we're doing. So I wanted to thank all of you for all the support and everything that we accomplish on a day in, day out basis. I did speak with Mayor Muir about maybe presenting this presentation, and he's asked me to see if I could give it to the City Council on October 1st. So I just sent a email to Council President Don Prespolinski just before this meeting to see if I could get on the agenda. So wanted to say all that. One other thing, pollution prevention, they call it the 2 Ps. And the gentleman that spoke as the keynote speaker, he was some super big shot for General Motors, and actually is world renowned. He was showing us projects that he's done in Norway and Finland and China and everything with all these things that recycling. The guy, I guess, can't throw really anything away. It was a pretty good presentation, but he said, well, I want to talk about the other 2 Ps, and he said that's passion and persistence. And he said that really hit with me, that I think a lot of the things that we do here at the Sanitary District, especially my staff and the board members also, there's a lot of passion and there's also persistence. We stay with stuff. Just reminds me of the digester electrical project. I think it's been on the agenda now for quite a while, so nobody's going to say we're going to give up on anything. And actually, it'll be moving through. So, and then one other thing that this gentleman said was that he said that a project is never done until the story is told. And I thought that was an interesting comment. And he said that you're not bragging, you're not trying to show off about what you got done, but what you're doing is you're telling how you did a project and what you accomplished to try to help somebody else, to try to inspire somebody else and show somebody else the ways and means and methods that you can get stuff done. So his presentation, I really thought hit home a lot with my presentation, and I actually threw some of that in when I gave my presentation, some of the same things I'm saying now, because it really is quite amazing. From the lead committee to the brownfields to the Cheney Run, to the Carwick project, the Conference on the Environment, the W.G. Jackson, just to name just a few of the things, the energy programs, talked about all those things. So again, I just want to thank you, all the board members, for all your support on all these projects, and I think you guys should be really proud of yourself, everything that we're accomplishing. So
I recommend that you present your talk to next WEFTEC.
maybe I could.
New Orleans.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Spike. So that's all I had. And then, Gary, one more thing is that when we get done with the financial report, can we move John Doyle up after that, because he has another appointment he needs to go to. So we get done with item 7. Sure. John Doyle go next.
And before you do that,
Okay.
we need to have Haas move up, because they have to go to the 5 o'clock meeting for the
I see.
redevelopment commission regarding a matter we're dealing with on Village Road.
In that order.
So
Well,
Okay.
I don't know how long John will take. I'd recommend it.
I don't see Haas in the house, is
Oh.
he?
no.
You're with Haas? No. Oh, okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Gary.
All right.
Okay.
Financial report.
We might have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Good evening. Those are lean. If you could sign them and then give them to Tim.
Yeah. It's not like a one-man firm.
I'll start by reading the cash balances for the August 31st 2019. The operating fund had $578,973.10. The improvement fund had $841,634.76. Vehicle replacement at $39,995.58. And the equipment replacement fund had $590,380.51 for a total of $2,050,983.95 in that bank account. Indian Springs had $10,513.38. Whippoorwill had $801.89 for a total in that bank account of $11,315.27. The SRF debt reserve had $494,273.83, and the SRF bond and interest had $50,778.73 for a total of $545,052.56. Stormwater had $498,154.16. Refuse had $1,119,631.27. Special revenue had $7,061.95. Levy excess had $8,522.14. And the rainy day fund had $81,307.78 for a total in that bank account of $1,714,677.30. The Carwick fund had $2,065,290.64 for a total cash balance of $6,387,319.72. Just quick notes on the operating. It was a little better than last month, but we did have 3 payrolls in August, so it was actually a little better yet.
It's a little better than last year too, as well.
Yeah, we're
at this point.
At this point, it's I expect it to increase because we had a lot of projects last year and earlier this year. So the vehicle replacement, we made the second Crossroads lease payment in August, and on the equipment replacement, we made the second installment on the energy savings loan. So that's why those are down. And then the SRF bond and interest, that was the second payment, second installment for the year on the SRF debt that we have. And then on the Carwick, that reflects difference to last month was the second pay request on the construction contract. And there's a third one you guys will discuss later. So
Which one did you pay the energy savings project out of, the equipment replacement?
equipment replacement, because what I did was put the debt in that fund, and then we're transferring $20,000 a month from operating into that fund. I just thought it was a cleaner way to do it. So, any questions? Nope. And then I put in the budget performance report, so please review it. I'm probably not going to, I'm still working on the budget for the operating fund, but we have until the end of the year to get that one done because it's not part of the overall city budget. So, so review it. Any questions, you can call me or next meeting. The next couple things in your packet are the budget worksheet reports, and what these reflect are they're having budget hearings with the city council currently, and they put together a book of all the various budgets. We have 3 funds that have to be approved by the city council, and they're stormwater, refuse, and rainy day. So at the last board meeting, I gave you like a Excel spreadsheet. All these numbers reflect what was on those Excel spreadsheets. And on refuse, if you look at the bottom of the refuse, second page, that's actually $150 lower than what I had in the budget on the expenses. But if you look year to year on 2019 versus 2020, that increase you see of roughly $670,000, that reflects the Volkswagen grant, because that we're gonna spend roughly $685,000 on 3 new dump trucks. So that's the increase, but that's gonna be funded by the city and by the Volkswagen Environmental Trust grant. So that's why.
already in the budget then?
Yeah, I put it in the budget just as a placeholder, and the city has approved.
For 3 more dump trucks?
For 3.
We received that grant through the Volkswagen project. As you remember, they were falsifying their environmental emissions, and there's a lawsuit against them. Actually, there's some more in the news just yesterday, if you guys follow the news, about the CEO of the company over in, it doesn't look too good for him over in Germany. But anyways, we got the grant money to pay 25%, I believe?
25%.
Of the fund, and we applied for 3 new dump trucks.
So that was like $171,000 was the grant.
And our refuse department sorely needs new dump trucks, really.
And then the last page is the rainy day fund. And what I would like to do here is transfer that money to one, either, well, I think I put it into refuse. I might have put it into stormwater, but to transfer it to one of the other tax levy funds and just close out that fund. So.
And one more thing about the dump trucks, those will be CNG fuel dump trucks, so
Right.
cleaning, for a clean environment.
And they're talking about swinging doors and things, so they're easier for the guys to use. So, and then the next page, this is the actual resolution that I would ask for your approval. And what this reflects is it's kind of a gross figure of the
Sure.
this one. Yeah. You got one, Gary?
It's after that.
After that one, it's at the end.
Let's see.
No.
It's right behind your left hand.
Going far
It's in
enough
your-
yet.
It's in your left hand, Gary. It's behind the one you have on the bottom, on your right hand, sorry. All that stuff right there. There you go.
The very last
The
one.
last page in. There you go. That's it. There you go.
And what this is what the city will be passing an ordinance. And what we've done in the past few years is I have you approve these 3 funds. And then the city council will actually also sign an ordinance, but this is our resolution. And this is what funds the expenses we just covered. Now, those numbers are gross. You actually, well, the first column is kind of gross, and the second and then the second is what we're actually, that's a gross figure. That will be reduced by about 2/3 due to circuit breakers. So we really only get about 2.6 million, and that's what the budget reflects as far as the expenses.
So we need them to approve this?
Yeah, I would like them to approve it.
Do you have a resolution number?
Yeah, it's 1410-19 at the top there. It's in that small print.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to
10-19.
approve ordinance resolution number 1410-19.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And that's all I have. Unless you have any other questions?
Thank you. Mr. John Doyle and Associates?
Nah, you're good.
It's here also.
I think everything else is Gary or Holt. Sorry, John.
Thanks for moving me up. Good afternoon.
Hey, no problem.
Good afternoon, Mr. Doyle.
The next appointment is a bar stool at Ritz, is it?
I don't know about the next one, but it's close in line. On the Elk and Jackson Street stormwater project, I had presented the paperwork and everything last month, but it hadn't been here for the prescribed amount of time, so you kind of held it back, but everything is done. Actually, it was basically done around April 26th, and what the D&M's pay request is, it's a retainage on the project in the amount of $12,993.
I move that we accept the certificate.
Do we have a certificate of
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you have everything.
I move that we accept the certificate of final completion and pay D&M invoice retainage of $12,993.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Thank you. On the Barker Alley north of Barker between York and Lafayette, that project is done. It was done as of August 21st. As of yet, I have not received any pay requests from the contractor, but it is in service, and I'm assuming by next meeting we'll have the...
It was completed on August 21st?
Yeah.
And if we don't get those pay requests within 30 days, then the project's free? Is that how that works?
You'll have to ask the contractor about that.
Who's the contractor? Chuckle from your ear.
He's making notes.
Yeah. Arthur Street, that project is done also. It was done July 22nd, and I have not received any pay requests.
Well, that one's way past the 30 days, John.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they start owing us money after a while, right?
I think that's the way it works, but
Okay.
you'll have to
Let's go check on that.
talk to the attorney here.
Okay.
On the Strebel Arm ditch, the initial bid was to be held over for 60 days. That 60 days is up. Randy Russell, I believe, has spoken with Mr. Woodruff, and he has indicated that he would extend the date for 60 days or the time. We're having problems with getting a permit from the Army Corps. There has been some movement, but nothing of any, we just don't have the permit. So hopefully we'll get it straightened out here in the next 30 days.
Do you know when that 60 days expires, off the top of your head?
Well, it should be this month or this meeting, not the exact date, but,
I mean, bid.
the next 60 days? That would be what, October, November? End of November, basically.
Thanksgiving.
And on the sewer crossing at Pine Tree Drive on Highway 20, we've had to redesign part of that. The initial design took into account the existing conditions, which everything was working well until the state highways put in their new culverts, or will put in their new culverts, which makes us in a grade conflict as we're to go across the highway. So at Mr. Cuss's suggestion, we moved down to the west and got into what would be the open ditch section of the job. And so we are going to go across there, and it will be a jack and bore job rather than an open cut.
So, if it's a jack and bore, are we opening up the highway after they've just paved the highway then?
No,
It's underneath, okay.
It's underneath.
All right. Because the jack, I didn't understand the jack on that.
There's not enough time to get everything put together prior to them finishing the highway and so forth, so we'll go back to the jack and bore, and should work out okay. All right, anyone have any questions? Good work. Good work. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, sir. Haas and Associates.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Printed out 10 copies of.
Oh, did you? Okay, I brought some copies also.
I got four.
Well, I gave you 10.
I have extras. Does anyone need the award of recommendation?
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Sure.
All right, take your seat.
Anyone else need any?
All right.
As you're aware, we opened bids on Monday of this week, 2 days ago. 4 bids were received for the Southgate Drainage Improvement Project. The recommendation letter there on the front includes a table that shows you the different bidders and their amounts for all the different bids, including the 5 alternates. We took a look at all combinations possible, and that's on page 2 of the letter of recommendation. The green column on page 2, that represents the low bid under all the different various combinations. On page 3, we are showing the various documents that were to be submitted with the bid. And you'll note that under D&M, D&M ends up being the low bid under all scenarios. That D&M did not submit their certificate of existence from the Indiana Secretary of State. We checked the online records of the Secretary of State. D&M does have a certificate through the Secretary of State, so even though it wasn't with the bid, we checked, and they do have that with the Secretary of State of Indiana. So that would be waiving an informality if the board chose to waive that issue. Then, as you recall, the funding for this project was set at a maximum of $950,000 from the Redevelopment Commission. So taking that into consideration and then subtracting out all of the other costs besides construction, the main part of which is engineering, geotechnical investigation, and surveying, legal surveying to set property boundaries. When you reduce all that off the $950,000, that left, that number's not on here, but we could work to backwards that number if we need to. But anyway, based on that, and that amount left from the $950,000, there is only enough money to do alternate A. I'm sorry, base bid, the base bid project. So that's why, if you see the bold print there at the bottom of page 3, we hereby recommend that the Sanitary District award the construction contract for the base bid with no alternates accepted for the above reference project to D&M. That would be an award in the amount of $694,818.54. What that does, and this is the sentence after the bold print, this will allow for excess project funds. It says approximately $50,000 or 7% of construction costs. Since the time that we drafted this letter, we've actually looked at it in more detail, and that $50,000 becomes $43,000, and the 7% becomes 6.2%. So it's in the range of what we have in writing here, but it's a little bit less. We think that it would be good to have money in a contingency fund to cover items that might be discovered during construction. When you're doing underground construction, it's not unusual to run into something that was unanticipated, and you should have some money set aside to cover those kind of things. So that's why we're recommending this low bid, and that leaves about 6% of a contingency fund to handle those unforeseen conditions that might arise during construction. Alternatively, and this I have no idea, Mr. Meyer I know has been in communications with the City Administration and Redevelopment Commission, but if there is additional money besides the $950,000 in the range of $100,000, then we'd recommend awarding D&M the base bid plus alternate A. That would get the storm sewer work under Village Road done, so that when the Redevelopment Commission project that paves Village Road would be paving over a project that is done, as opposed to if in the future sometime the Sanitary District decides to put in that alternate A work, that would be going through what will be a newly paved road next year. And I don't know that that's in your plans. It's just something to consider if there is, in fact, any extra money out there.
And that's alternate A?
That's alternate A, yes.
Good attention. You know, in your bid, Are you finished?
And alternate A is
I think so,
$113,000.
Jim.
Before you go further, let me hand the scene back.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Take one. And this is a document that Brian sent us. And it shows at top the calculations as to how they arrived at the number of less than 950,000 by subtracting out the estimated engineering fees. And it also shows, of course, the same thing that Tim's document had shown. And as he pointed out, if you have to stay below what turns out to be roughly 740,000, the only item that can be awarded, can be contracted for. Tonight, you're only talking about awarding the bid, okay? You're not talking about awarding a contract at this point. So, in theory, anyway, we can figure out.
So
Jim,
what?
sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, go ahead.
So, when do they want to start this work?
As soon as reasonably possible, to get it done before the snow flies.
Yeah, the
Or more
current
accurately, before the asphalt plants close.
Yeah.
the current completion schedule for the base bid work is substantial completion by December 1st of all work on the road, not the work in the rear yards.
Okay.
The work in the road. So, and that's really, really tight, given the fact that there's a good chance of having bad weather days, delays caused because of needing to relocate utilities. You know, NIPSCO has quite a bit of utility. So it's really a tight schedule to get it done by December 1st.
So, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I spoke to the mayor and about all of this, and there were options in the agreement, in the bid documents. For one was a 5-year warranty instead of a 2-year. The cost for that with D&M would be $200,000. The mayor did not want to pursue that. Then there is option D, which was extending the time for substantial completion to June 1 of 2020. And that would allow, in case of D&M, a deduct of $14,850. The mayor's position is he'd like to see all the road work done as soon as this year, which I would assume shouldn't be too much of a problem. The rear yard work, he just doesn't want to have it all tore up all winter. So if the contractor starts, they should don't start unless they, within reason, they can get it finished, at least the ditch closed before the end of the year. Otherwise, he would prefer that they start next spring when weather allows. The long and short of the monetary side of things is they're depending on the commensurate with the bid tonight, which is why I wanted Tim to come up as the redevelopment commissioners meeting in reference to the paving. And Tim, I don't know, the alternate A bid for this project for you, does that include paving or not?
Does not include paving. That paving for alternate A would be done under the contract Global Engineering is overseeing.
But it won't be done till next year.
Right. Their schedule for that portion, that's in Division 2 of their project, where it would be affected by the alternate A sewer work. That is not supposed to be started until next year, next spring.
That paving.
That paving work, right.
So we got.
And that's not included in the price?
Not in this price. There's another bid for paving work that's being let by the redevelopment commission tonight. So I just needed to know, because there was some conversation at some point about including it in this and then subtracting it out, depending on the way the bids came in. But in any event, my recommendation is that you award the project, the bid, to D&M Excavating, and that it be awarded contingent on financing for the base plus the A alternate, plus the D alternate. And then we'll have to figure out, because there's some question about whether or not engineering fees will be paid out of the $950,000 bond proceeds or out of other TIF revenue that the redevelopment commission gets into South TIF.
So
The answer more than likely is going to be no to that, but until it's 100%, the mayor doesn't want to close the door to the option of doing.
So your recommendation is to award the bid to D&M with the base bid, alternate A, and alternate D, contingent upon available funding.
Correct.
I need to clarify a point. Alternate D, extending the time,
Yes.
does not apply to alternate A. It only applies if alternate B work or C work.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And
I thought
since
it
we're-
applied to the backyard.
No, the backyards it has a different completion schedule already, and that is May 15th.
Okay.
But
Didn't go.
I only missed it by 15 days, sorry.
yeah, so the alternate, if you chose alternate D, that would only be the case. You could only have an option to choose alternate D if you were awarding alternate B or C,
Okay.
which you're not.
All right, well, thank you for speaking up. So we would like to recommend that you award the...
Stop. Then why, under the base plus A, is the price for alternate base plus A less when you use alternate D than it is under without alternate D?
It's a mistake on our spreadsheet.
Oh,
Yeah. When the spreadsheet was created, it took, right, so it's bad information on that
is
one.
it corrected on here?
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
that James-
This one's the one that was sent a couple days ago, and this was the one you gave us now.
I didn't bring one today. I'm not sure, Michael, I could tell you if I could see it, the one that you, the most recent one.
No, that's the one that you just gave, I just gave.
Here, here's both of them.
Mike, Jim, but you...
It doesn't
do you
really
need
make
to-
any difference for my recommendation to you as far as how to make the award.
You
We'll
need
have
to look at it a little more intensely, I mean...
No. The question isn't really the time of completion, whether it's May 15th or June 1st is pretty
If
irrelevant.
Tim is saying that it doesn't include the alternate D, then we don't need to do that. So the recommendation would be to award the bid for alternate, the base bid, and alternate A. No? You think it includes it?
Well,
This has been corrected, Michael, the version you have right here, and that's why it says not applicable, N-A, N-A, N-A. That is, and that's, so,
okay.
yeah, that's,
So make a motion to award the bid to D&M for
The base
Southgate
plus
Road
alternate A
Stormwater
without B,
Project.
without D or E. The top,
to just base plus A.
correct.
base plus A. I have one other contingency for your consideration to include, and that is, we have not heard back from Carl Riddle about the acceptability of D&M's submittal to the Human Rights Department. We had intended to get together with him today, and for some reason that didn't work out in his schedule. So we haven't gotten his blessing on what D&M turned in to the Human Rights Department regarding EEO, affirmative action, and local hiring, those kind of things.
But they have been approved in the past.
They have in the past, right?
Right.
I don't anticipate a problem, but we haven't officially
Right.
gotten
Just
it.
pending that approval.
Correct.
So I've made the motion.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
One opposed.
No, who's opposed?
Aye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, obviously, if they don't have the local hiring issue resolved, I wasn't aware that there was, no, they would not be awarded.
Okay.
They won't be awarded.
Your vote is contingent upon them
Right.
satisfying Carl Riddle, that they did what they're supposed to do or do what they're supposed to do.
Tim, while you're up here then, do you want to go through the rest of your stuff?
Sure. I guess wrapping up Village Road, I see engineer design pay request is on here. We've submitted a monthly invoice for services on this project in the amount of $22,188.45.
I move that we pay Haas and Associates the $22,188.45, which will be reimbursed by redevelopment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Thank you. Long Beach Sewer Project, the PER preliminary engineering report for the sewer on Lakeshore Drive is still in progress. We're wrapping up the cost estimate. One of the things that we'd like to do, I'm not sure if this board has engaged the services of the financial consultant yet.
No,
but
but we're
that's
probably going to do it tonight.
oh, okay. That's one of the things we want to work with the financial consultant and get.
It's necessary to complete the PER.
Yeah.
There's a financial component to the PER.
And you have a pay request, number 4?
And then we have a pay request for that work on that Long Beach PER project before you on your docket in the amount of $4,854.
I move that we pay Haas that full $4,854 pay request.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
All right, and then on the north end sewer capacity study, we have been surveying the manholes. We've got most of the XYZ surveying on all the structures done, and then we'll be opening the structures and getting all the information, gathering all the information on the inside, pipe sizes, depths, all those kind of things. That's in progress starting next week.
I move that we pay we approve invoice for Haas and Associates for the north end study in the amount of $8,083.60.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, I think I'll go to the redevelopment commission
Yeah,
meeting now.
safety.
Safety.
I think he's ready to come up here. too.
I'll report the RDC that we awarded the base bid in Division A,
Mr. McCoy,
Subject to
subject to financing.
how are you?
This is not part of the package.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look out. A little safety issue here. Thank you.
You need to get him one of those safety razors for opening.
You know, I was going, Commissioner Harris, I was going to bring that up in a more subtle way. But your approach is just fine.
Yes. The project still comes.
the way it was bid didn't have D applied to A.
Thanks. Well,
The D is the warranty. They're already
No,
on a 2-year warranty. Oh, was
the
it?
D
Oh,
is
sorry.
not the
Oh,
warranty.
Sorry.
The D is the schedule.
That's what Gary was talking
E
about.
is the warranty.
also they're not leaving that out.
No.
Yes, they are. There's no 5-year warranty.
Deanna.
Right.
Okay. You know, it's a hard one.
Safety.
Yeah, safety.
Okay. In the month of August, we had 2 recordable injuries. Both of them occurred to collections employees. The first, I spoke about the first one last month, and that was with a 3-vehicle accident. This is, I'll identify in vehicle 1, 2, and 3. Our employee was in vehicle number 3, stopped at a stop signal. And vehicle number 1 ran through a traffic signal, striking vehicle number 2. Number 2 struck our vehicle number 3. Airbag was deployed. The employee was wearing a seatbelt. So the employee suffered some, from the deployment of the bag and the result of the crash, suffered some discomfort and went to the emergency room and just aches and pains for a couple days. And so he was on restricted work activity for 3 days. We are extremely fortunate in that. My understanding is from the vehicle number 1 was cited for some traffic violations, and so that's what took place there. So on
Question, did vehicle number 1 have any insurance?
I'm not aware of that.
We're still looking into it, but we put it with GIS.
It is.
Yeah.
It goes through GIS.
And if it's not, we have another policy that will cover everything.
Okay. Excellent question. Number 2, an employee was stung by a wasp while cleaning weeds with a weed trimmer, and so that the employee went to the working well, and he is allergic to bee stings and the like, so he required a little bit of extra medication to make sure he didn't have any difficulties. But he returned right back to work.
Do they have EpiPens or anything like that?
Yes.
That happens?
Yes, that's this individual normally carries an EpiPen, but in this case he didn't. And so the employee and I had a really good discussion about that, and talking about the importance of that. He made a suggestion that, and on the surface it sounded pretty good, but then that maybe we should have those in a first aid kit. So what I did, I consulted with a paramedic who has almost 30 years of experience in the field, and he said, as we say in West Virginia, there's a lot of hair on that dog. That's not really a great idea, because number 1, it's a prescription. Number 2 is that if you administer the EpiPen to someone who doesn't need it, then it could cause heart difficulties. Then number 3, the needle itself is a controlled device, if you will. So there are a number of different reasons not to have it. So he was very appreciative of that. He wasn't aware of all that, and now he was, now he carries it, I'll say religiously. He carries it all the time now. So we emphasize that if you do have an allergy to it, you need to carry it all the time, and let your foreman know, let your co-workers know. And we cover this in the safety first aid training as well.
Now, how do you carry one? Is it like a needle?
It's not much larger than this, and so it has a cap on it, and so to administer it, you just jam it, take the cap off, and you jam it like this into the muscle area of your thigh, and then that's how the medication is administered.
I mean, you carry it in your pocket all the time? Or?
Mm-hmm. Sure do. Lunch bucket,
okay.
Pocket. It's a little bit, just a little bit bigger and a little bit larger in diameter than this. So they used to be quite expensive, but he found that he could purchase one for $7. So the prices have come down, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, but excellent questions. In August, late August, we had a process safety, I call it event, a mishap, if you will, and it was discovered on the 26th on the midnight shift in the chemical storage room when no more than 1 pound of anhydrous sulfur dioxide was released into the room. There was an improper connection that was made. It was a missing lead washer between the sulfur dioxide container top valve and the vacuum regulator assembly. And this occurred on the 16th. So between the 16th and the 26th, only 1 pound of anhydrous sulfur dioxide left the container, left its containment. To put that in perspective, the Section 304 EHS reportable quantity for anhydrous sulfur dioxide is 500 pounds. So before we would have to get to that level before we would be required to report that to the National Response Center. It's extremely important to mention that there were not any injuries to employees or contractors, and no harm to the community and no harm to the environment as a result of this. But what it is, in other terms outside of process safety management, we might call that a near miss. And so what we're looking at right there is to see what kind of opportunities we have to make sure that doesn't happen again. So we pulled together an investigation team with excellent employee participation, and that was by district management, chief operator, myself, maintenance mechanics, the water reclamation superintendent, and we came up with a number of different action items that we're working on today to make improvements on that. And as required by process safety management regulations, we initiated 2 management of changes to our systems, basically, that we're making a change in procedure, and we're making some adjustments to the sulfur dioxide alarm set points to make sure they're set correctly. So all in all, it's unfortunate that happened, but there are some lessons we learned from that, and we're pretty active on taking a look at that one, very active. The other thing we're taking a look at, and this gets back to vehicle safety, the operations manager and myself are working with GIS, and GIS, our insurance carrier, has a risk management platform that they offer, and they have a number of training modules that are available. And so we're taking a look at that, and we're going to look and see if some of those modules might benefit us. I'm evaluating those now. The fire training information I gave to you, I want to see if I can load that into that platform so we can keep accurate records of our training and on that platform, just see how it works. We're going to focus on vehicle safety. Maybe we should, Mr. Harris, extend it out to hand tool safety, including safe handling of knives and other cutting instruments for all employees. Yes, sir. And so I want to bring your attention to some of the training that we're doing this week. All employees, including admin employees, are going through live fire training, and that's using a pan fire. And for those who are on television, that's F-I-R-E, my southern accent. And so if you take a look at the last page, you'll see the type of fire that we are extinguishing when we talk about a pan fire, right here on this last page. And so it's a 3x3, 9 square foot pan, about 1 foot deep, and we use propane through water, and we use our portable fire extinguishers, and individuals learn through the safety information that we provide, and then they get to practice hands-on extinguishing an actual fire, a small fire. And so that, I think, is very valuable. So many of us talk about, well, this is how you use the PASS system on using a fire extinguisher and everything. But it's another thing to go out and actually extinguish one and just see what actually takes place. And so we're having our last set of classes tomorrow at 7:30 and 2. If you'd like to come down and take and get some hands-on fire extinguisher training, I welcome you there. It's a very safe environment to do that, safe place to do that. And we have an excellent instructor that helps me out, and that's Tony from Michigan City Fire Department. So the trainer that they have over there, he does an excellent job at that. And between the two of us, we have a really good session that lasts about 30 minutes. But what we do is we learn quite a bit in that 30-minute period of time. So that's all staff. Isn't that right, Ms. Rachel? Everyone. Outstanding. All righty, so heavy equipment recertifications coming up, quite a bit of work on that. And then snowplow safety training, refresher training on that. And that's about it for this month. So join us tomorrow, 7:30. I don't provide coffee or donuts. But it's on the far east end, but if you come here at 7:20, we'll make sure you get to the right location. It's on the far east end of the plant. Or at 2 p.m. If you don't have any questions, that's it.
Thank you. Very good.
All right. Mr. Chairman. Project update.
We're going to, Mr. Chairman, if we could please, Mr. Meyer was going to present on the Long Beach SRF loan thing, for approval. If we could do that maybe before Mr. Smith needs to leave. Are you okay for a couple more minutes? A couple more minutes, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so that is item 12AI on the agenda, which is the Long Beach Agreement docket. If you remember, we were waiting for approval on that until we received confirmation from the town of Long Beach that they were actually going to reimburse us for this study if they didn't get their loan, and we have that signed letter now from the town council. So what we would like to do then is we would like to get your approval to move forward with the Long Beach agreement with Sender and the company for the SRF agreement.
Well, first you have to approve the agreement with Long Beach.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Okay, and then approve the Sender.
So,
Yeah, the document from Long Beach is not a letter, it's actually an agreement, multi-page,
probably right at the end.
regarding
If you're
the
looking for it.
project and how it's going to be handled and the terms and conditions that apply to it. It should be in your packet immediately after the Sender
It's this one.
contract.
Okay.
You find the Sender contract near the end, right in front of the docket. And I think the docket is the second last.
So we're asking for you to approve the agreement between Michigan City and the town of Long Beach.
Under the attest, at the very last page, on the right-hand corner, it says Vice President, myself. I don't, is that supposed to be, say, Secretary?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve the agreement with Town of Long Beach.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed?
Then we go to the pending, which has been pending for a couple months, the Sender and Company agreement to do the financial consulting in reference to that project, including assisting Haas with the PER, but not limited to that.
And this is not to exceed, or estimated at 25,000?
Yes,
Is that a not to exceed, or?
yes,
The 25,000, right?
correct.
And where does that comes out of?
Well, it's going to be reimbursed by
Long Beach.
Long Beach, but it comes out of general, your operating fund.
I'll make a motion to approve the Center and Company financial advisory services for the proposed insurance of state, just the revolving loan series 2019 Lakeshore Drive sewer for the town of Long Beach project.
Can we get a second?
Not to exceed 25,000.
Yeah, correct.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed?
Thanks for doing that, Jim, getting that letter done.
Yeah, that took a while.
Okay.
Okay, now where we were on the agenda, Mr. President. is-
The project update.
Yes, we need Weaver Consultants and Engineers, who I do not believe are here today, so I will try to follow up on their part. All I can tell you is that the progress at the Carwick Nature Park, Carwick dump site is going phenomenally well. Woodruff is the contractor on that project, and they're doing a really nice job. In some respects, they're taking their time. I might have mentioned this at the last board meeting, but that's good because the quality of the work that they're getting done is really excellent. They're making sure the slopes of everything that they're doing is just about perfect, and the clay cover, and they already put in spots what are called shore socks. We're not sure, but this might be like the first time in Indiana that they've been used. We've heard that, then we've heard a couple other places might have tried them, but what they are is almost like a burrito, if you will. They curve up on the bottom, and you fill over the top with mulch and dirt and your seeds and stuff, and then you wrap this thing all over the top. So that way, when you get rain events or something, you're not washing all your sand and soil right out into the creek, in this case, because we're right along the creek bed. Mm-hmm. And the slusher is the subcontractor for Woodruff, and they're doing a really nice job. So just want to update you on that. Again, the question's come up a few times. Substantial completion is set for the middle of January, I believe, sometime in January. But we're hoping that they can get all the clay on here real soon. As Steve pointed out to me yesterday, Steve Stanford, that we're going to start losing hours during the day of drying time for, soil conditions. So we got a couple pay requests there. We got a Woodruff pay request for $253,249.06. That's been approved by the engineer for pavement, and we've also looked at it, and we recommend to the board that you approve that pay request number 3.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, then we've got 2 invoices for Weaver Consultants for the work that they've done out there. One is for engineering work, and the other one is for like survey work and stuff. Steve Stanford has reviewed both of these and has gone through them really closely, and we recommend payment to the board for both of these. The first one is invoice number 43858 in the amount of $12,091.
So moved.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
The second invoice is invoice number 44135 in the amount of $33,996.42. And again, we'd recommend payment by the board.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, and then V3 engineers, they're working on the Changing Run Stormwater project, and I don't believe that they're here tonight either. We're still at 70% design. We're still waiting for the Army Corps of Engineers, we're still waiting for the final IDEM permit to get off of public notice. And we're also waiting for the final negotiations with GAF on getting us the donation of the 11.79 acres. We have everything pretty much all worked out on that. The only thing is we need to get the powers to be in New York City, where their headquarters are, we need to get them a survey, because they wanted a survey of the property that we're going to have and their property to go with the deed. And we didn't know that for a long time, but obviously we do now. And we believe that that survey work should be done here in the next, probably within 2 weeks, and then we can get that to GAF, and then hopefully we can finally receive the land. I don't think it's going to be any problem to receive the land. So then we've got 4 engineering pay requests. The reason that there's a few extras is because they did not submit any last month. If you remember, they didn't get them to us in time. So there's 4 of them. The first one is 719429 invoice number, and the amount is $11,527.62. And we've reviewed this, and we recommend approval by the board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. What? You want to mention the rest of them?
The next one is invoice number 9181. No, it's actually 91. It's a mistake. It's 919006, and it's in the amount of $3,400.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And the next one is invoice number 819241, and it's in the amount of $10,937.50. We'd recommend that board approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And there's invoice number 819242 in the amount of $5,900, and we'd recommend board approval of that also.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Mr. Meyer was going back to the first one. I didn't see it on here. Mr. Meyer was pointing out to me that there's $12.62 receipts for reimbursing are not provided. We don't have the receipts, so before we pay this invoice, we're going to make sure we get this $12.62 receipt, okay? I just want to make sure that you know that. I didn't see it on there. He was gesturing to me.
Well, that's why we got such a good attorney.
Well, or a good operations manager, because he wrote it right on there, but I just didn't look at it. So thank you, Steve, and thank you, Mr. Meyer. So that takes care of, I think, all the project updates then?
Yes, sir.
And then I think now we're back up to
You
stuff
have
that I
the
have.
floor. Yes, sir.
All right, the first one that I have here is a proposal from Mr. Doyle. Over by the fire admin station, behind there, if you will, the parking lot where the trucks come in, that parking lot is not really adequate size, and there's been some compaction of the soil and so forth in there, and we were looking at trying to put a drywall in there and run maybe some connections from a dry well and some other drains out to Michigan Boulevard to a storm sewer that's on Michigan Boulevard. But after Mr. Doyle looked into that, found out that there is no storm sewer in that area on Michigan Boulevard. Those are also dry wells. So he's got a proposal here for doing the stormwater work, an engineering work there on the boulevard, or on this Broadway Street, for a total of $27,500. I haven't had time to look at this very closely, but what I'd like to ask the board is for approval to enter into this contract with Mr. Doyle for the engineering after we get a chance to review it in-house with our engineers and our attorney. If we find it acceptable, I'd like to know if I could get board approval to just do that and get moving on this project.
27,000?
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed $27,500. It's at the bottom.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Thank you. As you may be already aware, this is Trail Creek Week, and it's an outreach and educational event that happens every year on Trail Creek, and it's something that the district has supported many times in the past. And they were talking about putting a boat together for what we call the Creekness Stakes, which is these vessels that they bring in for rowing. They're like large canoes, 10-person canoes. And last year the board supported a $1,000 donation for the Trail Creek Week to sponsor a boat for the sanitary district for this education and outreach event that is mainly for kids and for citizens of Michigan City. And they were asking me about it at our last Trail Creek Watershed meeting. I said, I don't think we had it approved yet, so here we are asking you for approval kind of at the last minute for a $1,000 donation for Trail Creek Week for the sponsorship of one of the boats in the Creekness Stakes.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, the next thing that I have is the energy savings reports. I've got two documents there. First of all, our new engineer that started with us last week, Ryan Byers, who is right there. I've assigned this task to him, and Ryan and I went through it once together already, and he's done a nice job of finding a copying and pasting error that I had on one of the forms. I think it's the second form. So. And he's been digging deep into some other stuff, which I'll get to in a minute. But anyways, the September data is highlighted in red, and if you take a look at that data on the calculated rates, because I'm even thinking I might take off this columns here, these three columns, because these are the actual bills, and the only ones that it really applies to really is some of the bills that we have in 2006, because we were on a different rate in 2016. So I think the only ones that really matter, those are the ones that are highlighted in blue, those four numbers. So anyways, if you look, the $27,000, I believe, unless somebody could prove me wrong, is the lowest total electrical bill that we've had at the sanitary district since June of 2016. So I think the energy savings are showing off pretty good. But more importantly is the capacitors that we had the project to install the capacitors on our transformers to help us out with our power factors. If you look, the power factor this time was $15,258, and it's right. You're going too far. Right there. And that's the lowest that's ever been since any time. If you look at the calculated column, Jim, one row over. And the savings from those capacitors, just looking at that, it looks like we got about a $2,500 savings the first month they were on board. They went online actually on the 15th.
Right here? This one?
This right here.
Okay.
And so I think that's pretty impressive. And then if you look at this sheet here, which is this bigger page here, if we can get that out, is this shows our capacitor, our power rating, and every time it's in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th column over on the peak, it says power rating, and then also you have power rating in the 4th column on off peak, okay? Every time that you're below 95% on your power rating, you pay a penalty. You pay your bill, plus you pay a penalty on top of your bill, okay? And if you look, the first month that we had those online, our power rating was 99.9% on the peak, and I believe it was 99.98% on the off-peak. So that is really impressive. I will tell you that when Mr. McGill sent me the proposal for doing this job, he guaranteed that we would get an average of 97% on the power factor, and basically told him, I worked with Jim on this a little bit, that's why he's shaking his head yes, that I wasn't really happy with that. Like, let's just take it up a little higher just in case, because I don't want to, go down below 95. So I think he put a few extra capacitors in there or whatever, and so far looks like the first month it worked out great. And like I said, I really think that that's, compared to last month in August, you're looking at a $2,500 reduction just right off the bat on power factor alone. And those capacitors only cost us about $30,000. Maybe we had some work for Marquis Electric too. So I guess if you look at the total, it was about $32,000. So they should pay off. If we keep up like this, they should pay off relatively quickly, and we'll show some excellent improved energy savings. And remember, that was from the University of Illinois Chicago that came in and did that energy study for us after ESG. And they had also recommended, if you remember, that we put variable speed controls on our non-potable water that we use throughout the plant. Our water's so clean after we treat it that we use it, we pump it back through the plant to use it in different processes. And the variable speed drives have already been installed on that pumps too. Those were either on or off. So anyways, I think it's going very well. And then the next thing we have here is we have the energy savings report. They're required to do an annual report each year from ESG, and I only put one page. I didn't put the whole report in because the whole report was wasn't super long, but it was, 25 pages or so, and some of it was pretty small. You couldn't hardly even see it. I highlighted on here that this is the final report, I guess the final first year annual report, and they're saying that we've met the guaranteed savings. Ryan and I are still looking at this a lot more closely to make sure that when they say that we're meeting it, that we met it, and we probably have something to report back to you, either in October or November with some more details about that. But so that's all going pretty well. And then
Now, this report, that includes the lights and everything?
Lighting and the
Okay,
blowers.
Okay.
And actually, lighting and the blowers.
Okay.
So we've got the capacitor. I'm down on the capacitors now. I've kind of explained some of that already. We've got a invoice from McGill and Power for $30,212. That was for the capacitors themselves, and we've reviewed this invoice, and the installation's complete and everything, and recommend that you approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, and then we have, should have another invoice from Marquis Electric. In order to install these capacitors, we had to shut down our transformers and then turn them back on and reactivate them and stuff, and it's very dangerous working with that type of electrical voltage. So we had Marquis Electric, who has experience in that, come in and help coordinate that for us. And
Oh, I could have done that.
they were,
Unfortunately.
yeah, don't start that.
Maybe doing a new board.
All right, guys. All right. We like to spike. Come on. I like to spike.
No.
19 hours, and that comes to $1,805 for Marquis Electric for that work, and asked to approve that.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Okay, and then the transformer and cable evaluation, as I think I reported at the last meeting, we sampled our transformer oil, and it was actually really good. They were really surprised at how actually awesomely clean it was, so that was good to hear. And we have an invoice for that of $3,320, and we reviewed that invoice and asked that the board approve that.
So how often did they come back and said that maybe you should do it again?
You know, I don't remember. I think they said like once every 5 years.
No. I think you said last time every year.
No, did I say every year?
Yeah, and then
Maybe
you
I did
said
say every year.
Well, I know that we usually do it every year, but I don't know how, you ever spike those transformers? That's where you get the problem.
No.
Because that's where you get the acid and stuff build up, so maybe.
Yeah, and you were mentioning maybe every 2 years.
Yeah, I think I did say that
Yeah,
once
that-
every year, and then, but I think because of our history, this is the first time we've ever had it tested in
Yeah.
20 years, so I can't see doing it every year when it's been this good after.
Well,
you know.
it might be a good idea to do it in 2 years, and then after you get a good 2-year running, then.
Good point. I think we'll do that then. That's a good recommendation. And then,
I make a motion to.
oh yeah, motion to approve.
Pay for transfer oil testing.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And then the testing of the cables was a lot more expensive. I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was up around almost $20,000 or something to do the cable testing. And I kind of thought, that's too expensive and let's just not do it. Well, then when I told this Mr. McGill at McGill Energy, he said, no. He says, you really need to do that. He says, that's really, really important that you get that done. He says, look, if you don't want to do me, get some other quotes or something. So I think that we'll probably try to make it a capital project for next year to
Did you
get that
talk to
tested.
Marcus about it?
No, I did not talk to them about it yet.
Because I know frequently I use them and I've used others to come in and clean, inspect them. I'm sure they could probably.
Okay, well, we'll get another quote, and we'll try to maybe make that a priority for 2020, and we'll go from there. Bagley cleaners, I think last time I told you there's been some more monitoring. There hasn't been too much movement that I'm aware of there.
The claim against Bagley has been settled.
Oh,
Now, they don't have anything in writing yet. And
Within the community,
what?
the Bagley.
Bagley was the dry cleaning
Right,
company
I
Accident
understand.
that caused the pollution.
and the redevelopment that was taken.
So it's been settled far as,
It's been set, there was a claim filed against their insurance, well, against them, and their insurance company defended, and the
By the
claim was to
redevelopment.
reimburse the city for the cost of
The cleanup.
all the stuff, all the sampling and testing and whatnot that was done, plus the cost of the cleanup projected.
oh, okay.
And they have arrived, I don't
And
know.
when I meant for the community, is they gonna clean up the whole areas where it was?
I don't know how they're going to address the contamination.
Mm-hmm.
Your study showed basically there was none above the levels, just whatever the heck.
It showed there was none entering the homes, but there's still significant contamination. And I can tell you, Mr. Meyer, that the attorneys for that case that are representing the city contacted me via phone in the middle of the negotiations to ask me about the treatment. And one of the things they're thinking about doing is putting in groundwater dewatering and pumping that into the sanitary sewers for us to treat at our wastewater treatment facility, which we've looked into and we believe we can. And I told them that we believe we can do it, but we'd have to be paid accordingly for treatment of that wastewater. So I believe that
Sampling.
yeah, I believe it will include that, but like Mr. Meyer says, we haven't seen an actual signed settlement yet, but we could try to get that information for you at the next meeting, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Cuss.
Ohio reconstruction, I have no report on that. Hopefully we can take that off the list someday soon. Digester electrical, again, the first page is just summary information, and then the phase 2 part is we have all the contracts squared away now with Marquis, and also mechanical contract with Arctic Engineering Incorporated, and they have submitted shop drawings to the engineer firm at DLZ, and those were approved, and equipment was ordered, and the expected delivery is end of October, early November for the equipment, so they can start installing that stuff. So who knows, maybe if you keep your fingers crossed, maybe we can be telling you that this project is complete by the end of 2019. White Ditch, as you know, you approved us to send out quotes for doing this. I don't believe we sent out the request for quotes yet because we found out that we needed to have a wetland delineation, and now we understand that we actually do have to apply for an Army Corps permit and an IDEM permit, and it's our anticipation that those will be submitted to those respective agencies by October 31st, probably be sooner than that, but I was told in October, so I put October 31st on here. So hopefully at the next meeting we can tell you that those were submitted, and then in a while, how long do you think it'll be, Jim? We'll get the permits back.
From IDEM, 30
yes,
days.
You know,
Corps of
yeah.
Engineers,
You know, we got the
30
permit back
months.
on Cheney Run right away, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but hopefully that we'll get that one back quickly too. The sewer maintenance and sewer maintenance letter and policy, Steve Stanford and I did talk about this, and we tried to make it a priority to work on one of the days this week until 13 or 14 other crisis events developed, and we haven't really made very much progress on that. I can tell you that several of the sewer contractors are submitting us their notices when they do work, and I believe one of the companies, if I get this wrong, Rachel, you could correct me, D&M sent us a notice either early this week or late last week and said, you know, this is the first one they've had in a couple of 2-3 weeks. So I don't know. I know there was a lot of outcry about all this work that it was going to be, but I don't know that it's really that much work for the contractor. But Steve and I will take a look at the policy again and see what we can do. You have your blue swag report, which remember the swag is the Stormwater Advisory Group, and the blue is because it reminds us of clean water. Okay, and this is a couple of things. This has your meeting minutes and so forth of what we talk about at our monthly swag meeting, which we had one today again. And I think those meetings are very valuable. We get a lot of really good input from the people that come to the meetings from out in the community that talk about how much they appreciate, and we get information from that also. One of the things that we've done during these meetings is we've identified where we have stormwater issues, ponding issues. I hate to use the word flooding because I don't know that there's really any flooding, but standing water, ponding issues on the streets and so forth, issues like that, maybe yard flooding and stuff, if you will. And we've got a list of, I don't know, 17 or 18, 20 sites that we've got. Ryan took some time this week and put together a little worksheet, a template that identifies the location, shows a picture, talks a little bit about what we want to do for each one of those, and then identifies some potential corrective actions. And then what we're going to do there is we're going to sit down together as a team and look at the design and then try to come up with some more costs, more specific costs of what we think that these will entail, and then put that all in a spreadsheet so we can, we've been kind of talking about the same ones over and over, and then this way we'll have a better handle if we need to go to the mayor or the city council or redevelopment to say, look, here's some issues that need to be addressed. This is what we believe the cost of this project's going to be, and maybe prioritize some of it too. So that's
When you guys get together, let me know, and I'd like to get together with you.
We will, for sure. We definitely will, for sure. Hopefully it'll be one day next week, quite frankly.
Okay, sure.
And then, so that's going well. And then this also talks about all the grants and stuff in here too. It gives you a good summary of all that. So if you're interested in where we stand with the litany of grant money that we have. There's a pay request in here for that from the Delta Institute, and it's invoice number INV02618, and it's in the amount of $302.50. We've reviewed that, and we have our little verification form on here like we have on all the other ones, and we would like you to approve that.
Make a motion, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And there's another one for the Cheney Run Wetland Project, which is to sustain our Great Lakes grant that we have. And it's INV02619, and it's also in the amount of $302.50. And again, we have all our verification forms, and we would recommend payment of that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I realize those are small amounts, but we like to just get these projects out at the table that we're working on and make sure that everyone's aware of it. Okay, the next thing that we have is not on the agenda. It's a contract for doing locates. One of the things, as you may or may not know, you probably know, is that whenever you do any digging, you're supposed to call 811 and make sure that you don't hit a utility line. Well, you know, when you work at a place like the Michigan City Sanitation District, we get, what, 1 or 2 calls a week on that about? And somebody has to type all that information in. We get sometimes
One or
we get
two
50,
a week? I thought it was like 1 or 2 an hour.
sometimes it's like 50 a day, literally. So anyways, what this is it's a system where a company
Do you just have
no, they don't have this. That's why I gave you 10 copies, and hopefully you didn't lose 6 again. It's a company called Core Web Services.
Cortera?
Cortera? Oh, it says Core Web here. I was told Core Web.
They're providing core web services.
I see. So the company's name is Cortera, They're providing core web services. And what this will do, if I can get this right, Mr. Metanik explained this to me yesterday, is we'll take our GIS map of everywhere that we have our sewers and everywhere we have storm sewers, sanitary sewers, or fiber optics. And then when they call 811, it'll go to this company automatically. This company will have software that will look at the map to see if we have anything in the area. If we have something in the area, it will tell us that you have something, that you have a conflict that you need to inspect. It will take all those for every day that you get for each day, and it will send those to you in a batch, along with a route of the most economical or efficient way to go around the look. If you got 20 of them, it'll give you a route, what's the most economical and efficient way to go around to do your inspections. Then you can use your iPad, which we already have the iPads and we're already using them, to like take a picture of it and document your findings on there, and then you push a button and boom, it automatically gets loaded back into their system, and then it goes, all the notices go to where they need to go, and then we get a report and we can keep track of it like that. Additionally, you might ask the question, at least I did, is, well, what happens when you don't have anything in the area? It sends you a note and says you don't have any conflicts. So one of the things about that, that's pretty good for sanitary sewers and probably excellent for fiber optic, and probably 50-50 on storm sewers per se. So what we would do when we got those kind of notices, then we're planning on having all those notices go to one person, probably have our GIS coordinator tackle all this, and that person would do some more research with the information that he has, and then we would either sign off that no, we don't need to do it because we know it's way out here, we know we don't have anything, or assign it to somebody to go do a double check. So we're asking that
Before you go ahead. In addition to the sanitary district things, they will also cover the street lighting and traffic lights for the city. So the same issue, and Tony Basil has already identified on a geographical basis, because you have to send the area down to IUPPS, where you have to get registered with these folks, so that when the request for a 811 locate comes in, as Michael said, they'll check our data, the data we sent them, which is in the form of maps, and if we're a hit on the street light or the traffic light or both, or any of this stuff, they send out it's all done digitally now, a request for a locate, and then go to Corterra. Corterra will notify, as Michael talked about, the appropriate, obviously there aren't nearly as many street lights and traffic signals in the city as there are locations, as there are storm sewers, sanitary sewers. There's probably more than fiber, but
no water line.
And the water line is with the water department, and they have their own.
It's pretty neat.
Locate registration.
So this was in the amount of $7,800 for year one, and then an annual after that of $4,320. So since that was arguably right near my limit of $10,000 or just a little bit over, plus, like I've always said, we like to bring these things to you anyway so you know what's going on. So we would like to ask board approval for this for a year one of approximately, and it's 54 cents per locate, so they're estimating it based on the number of locates we have, approximately $7,800 for year one, and the reoccurring fee for the next year of $4,320 to enter into this contract with Cortez.
The year one has the training cost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to set up.
I think it's probably cheap insurance. One bad accident could cost a hell of a lot more than this.
Oh, yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
And I just want to say one thing as we move forward with this system. We're not sure exactly how it's going to be flushed out here at the district, but I just want to say that Rachel has done a fantastic job of keeping up, and also Cheryl helps out sometimes, and Melody and Destiny, I think, once in a while too. I'm not exactly sure about all that, but I know Cheryl helps out with locates a lot when Rachel's not here. So Rachel's done a really nice job of keeping up. So this might end up freeing up some time for her to maybe work on other things if it goes maybe the way we think it's going to go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good job.
And then we've got the locates now, or not say locates, we've got the reports from the department heads, or not department heads, the different sub-departments, and they're all in your packets. I don't know if you want to go over them or not, but I still think that there's a lot of work, and I was trying to find one where I could pull out one and talk about it. I'll talk about Jimmy Michaels then. We had no city plugs in the month of August, so no backups in our sewers and no city plugs. So a total of work orders for the month of 1,100, almost 1,200 work orders. 1,191 work orders, 1,190 complete. So that's not a bad month's work right there. That's great. Okay, and the total the total locate calls is right on there too, 1,112 for the month. So as you can see, this is no easy task that we've been having to handle.
Those are the ones that come in, or those are the ones that you actually look at?
Those are the ones we looked at.
So there's like 10 times that to come in?
Well, I don't think so.
Oh,
For us, we probably look at almost all of them.
Right,
really?
because the map sent to IUPPS for sanitary and storm for the district is the whole city. So, they check, because you got sanitary sewers up virtually everywhere, relatively speaking.
There might be
And there's some,
okay, so...
not a lot of septic systems in this city.
I don't know if on here this is the number he received or the number he checked. I would assume it's the number that he checked because this is supposed to be reported what they've gotten done.
Oh, okay.
But my point is that that's about the amount that we do a month. It really is. Right. It's been a little more lately because NIPSCO has been, if you're not aware of this, they've been checking their poles, and they have to dig down alongside the pole to see if it's rotten or not, and so we may have had a little more lately. About 100 a day, Rachel says. Okay. The tonnage report, I usually like to just read those numbers. In August, we had a grand total of 1,221 tons, and that compares with July of 1,284 tons. And then also, we do have the spreadsheet here that shows where we are past years, and as you can see, we're pretty close to where we were. Pretty close to where we've been overall. So if she doesn't have the total, she's got it divided by loose and compact on there, but pretty consistent on the amounts that we're getting. And one of the things I think comparing the loose and the compact, I think is almost maybe to some point a waste of time, because sometimes they'll throw a lot of stuff in the garbage truck, but if they can get it into the compactor truck, they like to put it in there and they can. So I think that we've been doing more of that, and I think that's one of the reasons the loose may have gone down a little bit overall. So I think the total is what
I want to say I saw some of the workers from Sanitary District driving down the roads, and people were actually going into the sides and pulling stuff out that people had thrown, and I stopped and I thanked them. I mean, it's great to try to keep our city clean. It just looks terrible within the city limits, some of the stuff that the people dump on the side of the roads. Mm-hmm. And it's just a good idea, and I appreciate that, so I want to commend them.
In about 30 days now or so, I implemented a new spreadsheet that keeps track of the loads, and we had a list, but we were getting way behind on it, and then sometimes we didn't know if we'd picked it up or not, so I put together an Excel spreadsheet that's on the shared drive now that we enter the stuff in every single day, and then when it was picked up and who picked it up, and it automatically calculates out the time that it took us, what's our average time. And I think we went from about 6 or 7 days right down to, I know I told Dan McCoy my goal was 2 days, and I think within 3 or 4 days we were down below that right off the bat, so it is doing good, and I appreciate the compliments.
You print out the optimal route?
No, we can't quite do that yet.
It's a simple program.
We could. Yeah, okay. All right, we'll get you on that. Right after you change the capacitors.
Yeah.
Maybe before you do that. Okay, I think that's all we have. Again, I appreciate all the support and everything, and compliments about the hard work. They go a long way. Thank you.
I'm next, but we already did what
We already did you.
Yeah. So we going
Make a motion to approve the revenue and tax levy claims for payment.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
Old business.
Is there any old business? Is there any new business? I need a motion
Make a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.
All right.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed.
After me.
Next meeting, regular meeting, October the 23rd.